Egypt settled itself on Group G's scoreboard as the leader of the group with 6 points. Nigeria lagged behind with just 2, which makes the first leg between Egypt and Nigeria in Kaduna a critical game for the Pharaohs. If they win, they would have settled themselves as the leaders of that group and maybe get closer to earn a ticket in the 2017 African Cup of Nations. But if they lose, Nigeria will become the leader of the group and the Pharaohs might be in a critical situation.
It's
a very important road for us. We can't miss the qualification this time. We failed to make it the last 3 times, and that's not good. It's never happened before in the history of Egyptian football. Nigeria is not as strong as before. Not the Nigeria we knew 8 years ago. I think we have a very good chance after our last-minute recovery. But the referee could have let the game go on for a few more seconds.
1 second, 2 seconds.
For an entire 30 minutes in the second half, Egyptian fans were terrified. They felt the game was getting out of their hand after Nigeria was leading 1-0. But the magician Mohamed Salah got a precious equalizer at the last minute of the game, giving confidence that Egypt might win in the second leg here in Egypt after just 3 days. Adel Mahroui, CCTV, Cairo.
Well, let's get you more on the road to the 2017 Africa Cup of Nations now, specifically talking about Nigeria and their chances. We're now joined live from Lagos, Nigeria, by coach and football analyst Toby Olubi. Toby, just talking about yesterday's match, what are Nigeria's chances after that draw with Egypt looking forward?
Well, I think Nigeria still got some chances. You know, Egypt still has to travel to Tanzania. You know, Tanzania is a very difficult ground to go to. I think they've not lost in their last 5 home games, and Egypt themselves are a terrible away side. They've only won 2 of their last 8 away games. So I think that will be the game changer. That is if the Super Eagles are unable to get a desired result when they go to Egypt on Tuesday, because it will be a very open game. Egypt came to Nigeria with the mindset of getting at least a draw. So I think if the Eagles can go to Egypt on Tuesday and get a positive result, either a draw or a win, I think the group is still wide open. 2 points is not too much for the Eagles to catch the Egyptians.
Now, Toby, you talk about the Pharaohs' form away from home, but we could compare that to what Samson Siasia said about Egypt going into the run-up to the match. Was the coach's comments justified ahead of the match yesterday?
Yes, his comments were justified because Egypt are a very tough team to play. North Africans generally are very tough to play. And their experience showed in the game because despite the pressure from the Super Eagles players in the second half, Egypt kept their calm. They didn't let the goal margin get wider than 1. In the 9 minutes of the game, they were able to get their equalizer and stun the Eagles. I think if the Eagles had buried their chances earlier in the game, maybe they would have put the game to bed. But the experience of the Egyptians came again to play, and they were able to come back into the game and made the return leg in Egypt very, very, very tricky for Nigeria.
Finally, Toby, obviously this is a match that generates plenty of excitement. Nigeria against Egypt. The venue, of course, in Kaduna was packed. Some saying it was almost double capacity. Was Kaduna the right choice for the fixture?
Yes, it was. And Nigerian football fans are football lovers. It's a second religion in Nigeria. People worship their football. They enjoy their football. And I think Kaduna was a fantastic place to use. The grass pitch was wonderful. Both teams enjoyed their football. The ball was rolling smoothly. And the fans were in their thousands. It's a 25,000 capacity stadium, but there were over 40,000 fans there waiting to see the game, hanging around on rooftops, on floodlights, because the governor of the state, Malam El-Rufai, he actually made the gate fee to the match free just to create a positive atmosphere for the Eagles. And it worked even more than they had expected, with over 40,000 fans turning up. So I think Kaduna is the right place to be. It's the right venue.
Toby, thank you very much for speaking to us here on Match Point. That was football analyst and football coach Toby Olubi. He's been joining us live from Lagos, Nigeria.